This practice that we do today is to help you prepare for an arm balance or inverting. A big part of that is working with the hands. And so we could picture our hands being like little gecko hands, like little suction cups here on the fingertips. So it's like we're gripping the mat and then kind of spreading the fingers back out versus flattening the hands and dumping into the wrists. So coming to hands and knees, you can just start with just suctioning, cupping, like have these little suction cups on the finger pads and you walk around the mat. Just start to work the hands up. Notice how this brings some energy into the forearms. And then we can do a little stretch with the hands. So walking the hands out, fingertips toward the long edges of the mat, or even fingertips toward the knees. And then from here, you could take some circles with the torso. Feel that stretch on the wrists and the forearms and the hands. Rock forward and back. And of course, we're going to be kicking up off the feet, so we can have the fingertips face forward again. Tuck the toes, sit back on the heels for toes pose. You could take your fingers to help separate the toes apart. Of course, you could be here. This can feel really intense on the feet, or you can come all the way up. And the heels point straight up. They're in line with the sits bones. They're not splaying out or in. And there's just a little bit of a lift here. And just feel that opening around the balls of the feet and the toes. One more inhale in and exhale out. Good. Bring the hands forward. Untuck the toes and tap the feet out. And then from here, you can sit back onto the heels, walk your hands back, and lift the knees up. And get a stretch for the front of the feet and the ankles. And then come back to hands and knees. Okay, so then we need to know a little bit about shoulders and specifically the scapula, the shoulder blades, when we're doing arm balances. So let's start with cow pose. Lift the tail, lift the chest, slide the scapula down the back. And the shoulder blades right now are retracting toward the spine. They're gliding toward the spine and giving us a chest opener. And then we press away from the mat, round the spine, little tuck of the tail. Now the shoulder blades are protracting, moving away from the spine. This could also be compared to posture that is not great, like poor posture, slumping over, tail is tucked, shoulders are rounded forward. Not a position we typically want to be staying in. And then come back through cow, lift the tail, lift the gaze, slide the scapula down, retract toward the spine. And then exhale, press down into the earth, round the spine, protract the shoulder blades away from the spine. And just do a couple more. And then come back to your neutral spine. Now tuck your toes, come back onto the shins, and just to drive the point home of the shoulder blade work, make little tiger claws with the fingers, and then reach forward and round the spine, protraction, shoulders are out of socket. And then retraction, cow, arch the back, squeeze the scapula strong to the spine, shoulders are in socket. And then we round again, shoulders out of socket, tuck the chin. Inhale, open the heart, retract the scapula toward the spine. So we've got to get the chest open in a lot of these arm or inversions and arm balances, and then round. And retract scapula toward spine. Okay, good. And then take hands back down. Toes are tucked. Now, with the toes tucked, we're going to come into a cat spine. And then just from this position, press down into the feet and lift the knees up. And start to feel this carving out of the belly, like the belly button's going toward the spine. Kind of like it does in crow pose, Bakasana. Keep the arms nice and strong. Carve out belly. Take another breath in. And then downward facing dog. Lift the hips up. You can have a nice long dog here. And we go for the low back health over the hamstring stretch. So that might mean you bend your knees a little bit, press your pubic bone back between the upper thighs to lift the tailbone and bring some lumbar curve into the spine. And then from there, you can lengthen the heels down. And then take another breath in and out. And then on an inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Bring your knees down. Keep your fingers nice and wide, clawing the mat. Don't change the hand placement at all. Lower the belly down. Untuck the toes, legs nice and wide. Hands are staying gripping on the mat. Shoulders roll up and back. Slide the scapula down. Soften the front of the ribs down. Elbows can be nice and wide. Let the heart pour through, cobra. Slide the chin back, maybe look up. And then come on back down. Tuck the toes. Don't change the positions of the hand, especially that first finger rolls into the midline. You should see the entirety of the fingernail on the index finger. Press up to plank, downward facing dog. Step your right foot through your hands. Bring your back knee down. You could always have padding here for your back knee. You could also grab some blocks. And then just soften and let your pelvis be heavy and forward. And then we'll straighten the front leg. You can bring your blocks back a little bit. We want the hamstring stretch. That means the leg needs to be straight. If we have a bend in the knee, we're not stretching our hamstrings, so you could always come up super high with fingertips on the block, or blocks. And then come back, bend the knee, set the blocks, place the hands, lift your back knee up, downward facing dog. Notice the difference, feel the difference between the sides. Left foot steps forward, back knee down. Maybe you have your blocks. So how do we know if we need blocks? If the back is really rounded here, because we're trying to touch, and the shoulders roll forward, we tuck the tailbone, and we really want to touch the mat. But then we sacrifice the lumbar curve. We come back into poor posture. So we bring the floor to us so we can be nice and tall, pelvis heavy, pubic bone back. Nice stretch for the front of your right hip. And then from here, blocks go back, straighten your front leg, bow forward, Pubic bone is still pressing back between the thighs. That brings the lumbar curve in, intensifies the hamstring stretch. And then bend into the front knee again. Set the hands down, lift your back knee up, step forward and fold. Uttanasana, maybe hands to blocks. Slide your thumbs up to the tops of the thighs, press your thighs way back. And then lift the chest, come all the way up to Tadasana. Let's do 3 sun salutation A's just to connect to our breath. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, press your thighs back, take your fold. Let your head drop down. Inhale, walk your hands forward, nice long spine. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back to your plank, check out your first finger, roll that finger into the midline, grip the mat, gecko hands. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, maybe knees come down or lower, lower, lower to the belly. Inhale, cobra, legs wide. Elbows can be wide. Scapula retracts toward the spine and slides down the back. And then downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels up. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Make your way all the way to your fold. Let your head drop down. Press the feet down into the earth. Inhale, reach all the way up to the sky. Palms touch. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, take your fold. Walk your hands forward. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, walk your hands back. Find your plank. Spread the fingers wide, grip the mat. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale to the belly. Untuck the toes, legs wide, cobra. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Make your way all the way to your fold. Let the head be heavy, neck is long. Press down into the feet, reach all the way up to the sky, palms touch. Hands in front of the heart, exhale. One more. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, take your fold. Inhale, walk the hands forward. Exhale, walk your hands back. Grip the mat with your finger pads. Plank. Inhale, shift forward. Maybe knees come down. Exhale to the belly. Untuck the toes, legs wide. Keep the hands as they are. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, make your way all the way to your fold. Okay, grab a strap. Should have told you you needed that. Maybe I did, I don't remember. But a strap or a dog leash and a couple blocks would be good here. You're gonna take your strap, probably just a little wider here than shoulder width distance apart. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the elbows just a touch. And then take just the forearms straight back. Feel that opening between the front of the shoulder and the chest. Slide the sides of the throat back. Check your hips. We don't want them pressing forward. We still want lumbar curve in the back, so the thighs go back. Front ribs soften down. Forearms back. Breath. And then inhale, extend your arms up. And we'll take a side bend. So torso, mine's going to the left, hips right. Yours might be going in the opposite direction because I'm not mirroring you. And then come back up. And then shift the hips to the other side. Torso. Opposite direction, come back up. Okay, from here, I'm going to turn my back to you. Keep the strap in the right hand, bring it up over the head, and let the left arm come down by the side. And then take your left arm out, turn the thumb down, bend the elbow, grab onto the strap. And then start to walk your elbows, or your hands toward each other. Maybe they connect, but don't force that. And then you have a little bit of gentle pressure here into the back of your head. Thighs are still pressing back. You're not jutting the hips forward and compressing the spine. Slowly and gently just let that left hand release, and then you can switch sides. So the right arm can come down, grab the strap with the left hand. Right arm goes out, thumb faces down, grab the strap, walk your hands toward each other. Maybe they connect. My sides are really different here. So just honor that. A little bit of pressure of the back of the head into the arm. Breath. And then release the bottom hand, extend the top one up, and release the strap down. Okay, now we're going to work the muscles of our back, the posterior chain. So take the feet as wide as your mat. You could have the toes turning out just a touch. And then bend the knees a touch, and then swing your hips way back and straighten the legs. And right away, I'm feeling my low back turn on. I don't have pain in my back, but I do feel muscles working. If it feels like super intense, soften the bottom of the rib cage down and stabilize this part of the back, the waistline. You can lift the toes, spread them nice and wide. Okay, then from here, act as if you're wrapping an imaginary gym towel around the neck. And you're really shifting the hips back like you're trying to sit on a chair that keeps moving backwards. Trying to straighten the legs, chest is forward. So we really want this in the hamstring, glutes, and back. We hinge at the hips and lift the chest up. And then lower. And lift. And lower. And if you feel this more in the quads, we really want to think about the femurs rooting back. So you could take the thumbs and really press the thighs back so that this stays out of the quadriceps. Lift the chest, lower. Lift the chest, lower. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. Good, and then come all the way back up. Feel those back muscles turned on. And then from here, bring the feet back to hip width distance apart. Thighs continue to press back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take your fold. Standing split. I'm going to bring the hands to blocks so I don't have to worry about all the stuff that's going on in my low back. This is going to help me continue to be in really nice alignment. I also could get a chest opener here by drawing the shoulder blades toward the spine. Gaze is down. Shift the weight to the left leg, lift the right leg up. Toes point down. Think about stretching the legs apart. Legs and toes are so long. This is a strategy that we can use when we go to kick up. We really want the legs to be nice and long. It'll provide some more stability for you as you kick up. And then switch, right foot comes down, left leg lifts up, toes point down. Breath. Legs are long, stretching apart from each other. And then take the left foot back down. Go ahead, ditch the blocks, come into a fold. Bend the knees, step back to downward facing dog. And just think about the fact that this is kind of like a handstand in your upper body right now. The only difference is we start to make our way for the shoulders to go up over the wrists and walk the feet in. And there's some other tips that I'll give you in a different video. Little bend of the knees, lift the tailbone up. And now, bend the knees, press the pubic bone back, big lumbar curve. Press, 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 and elongate the arms. Lift the belly button up. Take some breaths. Good, straighten the legs. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Make your way to your fold. Slide the thumbs up the thighs. Squeeze your scapula together. Lift your chest. Come on up, nice long spine. You can roll out the shoulders, front and back. Okay, grab your strap again. I'm going to start with turning my back to you. So we'll have this strap between the hands. We'll start with the palms facing away from your body, back behind you. You can bring the hands pretty close to each other and the elbows wide. We want to pull the hands apart and feel the shoulder blades retract toward the spine. Instead of binding and hyperextending and bringing a lot of pull around the neck, we want to treat this more as a chest opener by keeping the shoulder blades retracted toward the spine. Then you could take the feet hip-width distance apart, more than hip-width distance apart. We're coming into a forward straddle bend. And something to remember here is that when you go into your fold, you're not pressing the hips forward and folding. We keep the thighs way back, and we keep this chest opener. Continue to pull the strap apart, squeeze the scapula together, and let the head drop down. Shift forward a little, the balls of the feet. Good, continue to pull the strap apart, lift the chest all the way up, and release the strap. Notice how open, hopefully, the shoulders and chest area feel. Okay, and then from this point, we can, I'll show you one more stretch you can do to get the chest open. It's optional, but if you feel really tight around the chest shoulder area, you might consider this. I am gonna grab a blanket. So I can put my blanket up against the wall. And then I'm going to grab a block and put it on the narrow setting between the shoulder blades. And so we take the hands, surround the narrow part of the block, Inhale, reach up. Exhale, elbows bend, and the block gets placed right kind of at the top of the thoracic spine. And then from here, we bring the elbows toward the wall. Keep the block between the shoulder blades. Tuck the toes, and your head is not on the wall. It's kind of hovering here. And you could even, we'll just keep the block glued to your back. As you tuck the toes and lift the hips, the block is going to reposition on the wall. And then you're pressing your upper thoracic spine like into the block, and you're getting a really, really big, juicy tricep stretch. Triceps are connected, you know, to chest, shoulders, all that business. So you want this nice opening. One more breath in and out. So obviously this is really good for headstand and even shoulder stand. Bring the knees down. Good. Press the block into the wall and come up and roll out the shoulders. Okay. So that's just a really nice warm up to start inverting. So now you can watch the other clips and choose which inversion you want to do. I will have crow as an option, headstand, handstand, shoulder stand, forearm stand. Okay. Thank you so much for practicing. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Namaste.